Okay, I'm starting.
If you drink as much as me.
Yeah, so.
So you're only renting it then?
Hi everybody, I'm Olivia, thank you for coming. I have a question for you. The CDC, the Center for Disease Control, calls one of the following one of the world's most pressing public health problems. I want to see if you can guess what it is. It's A, antibiotic resistance, B, sudden infant death syndrome, also known as SIDS, C, night blindness, or D, mad cow disease.
A.
I got about A, but
Yeah.
SIDS is pretty bad, so that's tough.
It is A,
rejection.
antibiotic resistance. Yes, and so antibiotic resistance is what happens when we take antibiotics to cure an illness. What happens is the antibiotics are meant to kill the bacteria in our body, and usually it kills the weaker bacteria, which is great. However, there are stronger strains of bacteria that can work against these antibiotics and not only overcome them, but actually that bacteria becomes stronger because of the antibiotics. So, one of the main problems with antibiotic resistance is that these strains of bacteria not only spread more easily, but they are also harder to treat. So according to an article from the Association of Operating Room Nurses, antibiotic resistance can result in higher severity of illness, higher mortality rates, adverse long-term prognoses, and also longer hospital stays. Also, according to a report from the Center for Disease Control that was released this fall, antibiotic-resistant strains of bacteria contribute to infect 2 million people in the U.S. every year, kill 23,000 people in the U.S. every year, and also contribute to $20 billion in additional healthcare costs in the U.S. every year. Another problem with antibiotic resistance is that these antibiotics that used to be effective are now losing effectiveness on the same infectious diseases. So according to the Journal of Clinical Epidemiology, a study in 1999 found that only 6% of doctor visits were diagnosed with bacterial infections. However, 51% of those doctor visits ended up with prescribing antibiotics. So only 6% of those people should have gotten antibiotics, but 51% of them did. Since these people that didn't need antibiotics were taking them, this contributed to these stronger strains of bacteria, and that's only been getting worse since then. This is a problem. This carelessness in prescribing antibiotics is one of the main issues that's been making it worse in the U.S. Also, since the 1980s, there's been a 754% increase in central nervous system blood infections. Now, this is an unreasonable rate of growth, which can only be attributed to antibiotic overuse, making these central nervous system blood infections stronger and more resistant to antibiotics. So, what can we do to prevent antibiotic resistance? The first thing we can do is not take antibiotics for viral infections, only take them for bacterial infections. So we're going to have a little quiz here. Who here would take antibiotics if you had the flu? Okay. Who here would take antibiotics if you had an ear infection?
I not usually antibiotics, but if I had to pick one, I would do the ear infection.
Okay, how about if you had a cold? Okay. Shouldn't be taking antibiotics for any of those. Which, it's interesting because a lot of us may have no idea, but those are all very common things that happen. So, taking antibiotics for any of those would not cure the infection, they would also not prevent its spread, and they will also cause harmful side effects. So if you do have a viral infection, the best way to treat these are with rest, fluids, and over-the-counter products. Another solution for preventing antibiotic resistance is to only take antibiotics as directed. So don't demand antibiotics from a doctor if they're unnecessary, and don't take antibiotics that are prescribed for someone else. This may not help your infection, and it may also contribute to antibiotic resistance within your own body, thus making you sicker. If a doctor does prescribe antibiotics for you, according to the Center for Disease Control, you should not skip doses of your antibiotics, do not stop taking them early, And also do not save antibiotics for later, for when you become sick again, because those same antibiotics may not help you with that same illness later. Some people are saying, well, in order to fix this problem, we should just create stronger antibiotics that work against the stronger bacteria, which is in theory a great idea, but according to the Journal on Drug Topics, this would just actually create ultra-strong antibiotic-resistant strains of bacteria and would cause an even bigger public health problem than we currently are facing. So this is actually not the best solution for this problem. So, in conclusion, the things that you can do to prevent antibiotic resistance are only take antibiotics when they are truly necessary, never exceed the recommended serving, follow all guidelines for antibiotics, and then also, if you're ever unsure about how to treat an illness, check with your doctor. You never want to be in a position where you think you're treating something and actually just making yourself sicker. In conclusion, a newspaper cartoonist named Walt Kelly, he made a cartoon about antibiotic resistance, and in it he described it by saying that we have met the enemy and he is us. Life is too short to let the bacteria in your body work against you. Thank you.